Now, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture has indicated that in an effort to curtail the annual post-harvest losses, efforts are being made to provide storage facilities to preserve harvest. Speaking at the 7th International Trade Show for West Africa Agro-Food and West Africa Plus Print Park, Chief Director at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Robert Patrick Ankobia, indicated that this measure is to boost production and increase volumes from farmers irrespective of the current instability on the market. There's more in the following report.
For West Africa Agro-Food and West Africa Plus Print Park is a trade fair for agriculture and livestock production and technologies for food, beverage and packaging. This initiative is to help vendors present their latest technologies to producers for easy production. Chief Director at the Ministry for Food and Agriculture, Robert Patrick Ankobia, explained that the trade show will help reduce the wastage the farmers incurred after harvest.
The ministry has stepped up the production of its products for farmers under the Planting for Food and Jobs. And so one of the issues that have been bothering the ministry has to do with the post-harvest losses that we have been encountering. And we see that with this conference, with all these exhibitors looking at the post-harvest of whatever we do, we are very particularly happy. We think that a lot of the wastage will be salvaged through the processing that will happen, and that will make even more food available to us, and will also improve the incomes of our farmers.
Managing Director for Fair Trade, Paul Myers, explained the need for the collaboration with the West African markets.
The most important is that food is or food products are packaged at all, because the Ministry of Food and Agriculture was already mentioning post-harvest losses is one of the biggest issues we have in Ghana for self-sustainability. And if you package food, no matter if it's in plastics, if it's in paper, or if it's another kind of packaging material, you make food last longer and you avoid post-harvest losses. And it's I heard a figure that 50% of the production is being lost on the way to the consumer, and you can avoid this if you package closer to the farmer.
Italian ambassador to Ghana and Togo, Daniela Dorlandi, was also present at the 7th International Trade Show to reinforce the bilateral trade between Ghana and Italy.
Our bilateral trade has increased a lot, notwithstanding the COVID pandemic. In 2021, it was over 520 million euros, and it is still growing, because in 2022, in August, it already reached 600 million euros. And most of our exports to Ghana are exports of technology. So we are very pleased to be here today with so many companies, and the Embassy of Italy, together with the Italian Trade Agency, which organized our national pavilion, are here to promote further relations in the trade sector and to promote business opportunities between Italian and Ghanaian companies. And we really believe that there will be a lot of networking opportunities during the days of the fair.
Exhibitors at the fair shared their reasons for participating in the trade show.
We're looking for someone who will be in Ghana, who will look at the market, who will promote the brand in Ghana, but also one who will create jobs for Ghanaians, especially young people.
My main aim here in Ghana is to partner up with a company that would be interested in my product, so that we can take this forward and get people to know that it is okay, you know, that you can actually drink wine and socialize. It becomes all-inclusive in events and dinner parties, so nobody's left out.
Stephen Mensah's reports, read to you.
Now to our earlier story, where the stage is set for the 38th National Farmers' Day celebration at Koforidua in the Eastern Region. President Akufo-Addo and other top government officials are expected at the annual event to celebrate our gallant farmers. With the increase in price of fuel, which is affecting the cost of foodstuff, the Ministry of Food and Agriculture says government's proposed Grains Development Authority is another measure expected to control the increase in price of the grains and legumes. Government says the proposed authority is expected to complement the achievements being realized under its flagship agricultural program, Planting for Food and Jobs. The Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Bagbara Tanko, has been interacting with Maxwell Agwagwa on the celebrations and government's plans to reduce soaring food prices.
All is set here at the Jubilee Park in the Eastern region, specifically Koforidua, where the 38th National Farmers' Day will be taking place. We've seen some workers around here putting finishing touches to what they started some days ago. But already the National Agricultural Fair has been taking place here since Tuesday. It's expected to end tomorrow. We have with us here the Public Relations Officer of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Bagbara Tanko. Great. Tell us, how advanced our preparation?
Yeah, so by God's grace, we are well prepared, despite the challenges confronting us, especially with the rains. They've disrupted since day one till date. But I can assure Ghanaians that we are more than ready. All the award prizes for the award winners is on the grounds, and we will soon be putting this place in shape where we'll display all the awards for tomorrow's event. So we are set.
Okay, so who are we expecting to grace tomorrow's event? Of course, the president is going to be around. We're expecting him.
Yes, this is the heartbeat of the president. He's supposed to be here. Indeed, he has indicated he will be here to award the gallant farmers of our country. You all agree, without them, there won't be food on the table. And times like this, particularly this set aside to appreciate them, all stakeholders will be making their way here. Our partners, developmental partners in the agriculture space, all key stakeholders will be here tomorrow.
Well, one of the challenges of the agri sector within the year under review has been the increase in the prices of foodstuff. Also, as a result of the increase in the price of fuel. So when we are transporting the food from the farm gates to the city center, to the urban center, the price shoots up. That has been, the challenge. One of the things that you've been doing is the PFJ market. How is that going so far?
Yes, so certainly we have several interventions being put in place to address this issue. One of such was the PFJ market, which we said we're piloting and now we're going to scale up. It worked for us. We had challenges anyway. So that is on board. We also embarking on a long-term solution, and that is having what we call the Grains Development Authority. The bill is before Parliament. Once it is passed, MOFA has about 80 warehouses across the country. These warehouses are going to be handed over to the authority. They will have the powers to go to the capital market, borrow, go to farmers, be able to mop up the excesses and the surpluses, store at these warehouses, and be able to at least manage the increase in prices when we are out of season. You bear with me, Ghana, we are not practicing the buffer stock system. And that is the way to go. And that is what the Grains Development Authority seeks to do, so that we can always have a buffer and then release it into the system when it is in the lean season. So like I said, among other interventions, these are a few that are being put in place. You also agree with me, the theme for this year is what? Accelerating Ghana's agriculture development through value addition. Certainly that is the way to go. How long can we depend on our raw product? We are tackling the agriculture value chain right from the farm to when the food is on our table. We want to improve on quality. And it is a theme that the ministry wants to embark on, and we are calling on all stakeholders to join us. Take rice, for instance. Why do we prefer the foreign rice to the local one? Perhaps it's long grain, no broken rice, no stones, packaging excellent. We have the potentials to do same, and that is why we are pushing for the agriculture space to take up value addition. When we do that, we add value, we'll get premium prices in Ghana and outside the country. And when we do this, we'll be in a position to manage the increase in prices. We'll get quality product and to commensurate the amount that we pay.
Okay. There are some who have been asking for variety in the foodstuff that is brought to the PFJ market. Are we likely to see any variety?
You saw that we started with plantain.
Yeah.
We added on yam. We added on some vegetables from the greenhouse villages. Yes, it wasn't enough, but the harvest that they brought didn't even last 30 minutes. It got finished. We have increased, we have opened up, we moved to the Obra spot. We're also at Okanshi Fire Station. The regions have taken it, our Ashanti region has done it. So it's something we piloted, and as and when they need be, we'll add on more commodities to it.
Finally, before you go, another intervention that we saw this year was the withdrawal of foreign exchange support to persons engaged in importation of rice because we can't produce them locally here. So rice, poultry, fruit juice, and other things. I want to find out how is that going for the locally produced farmers who produce rice here in Ghana? I've been speaking to many of them here. They seem to be excited about it.
Yes, that was a very welcoming news to the local farmer. All over, wherever Minister had engagement with farmers and poultry farmers, this has been their request. Let us have a level playing ground where all of us can compete favorably. Because we tend to see that the local product, local rice, local poultry is expensive as compared to the foreign one. Why then will we use the taxpayers' money to make it attractive for importers to bring in what we can equally produce? Yes, we know we are trying to match up with what? Meeting the demands, meeting the target. So I think the ground is now very level, and our local industries will be able to compete favorably. As a ministry, it's welcoming news to us, and we are more than happy.
At the same ground, some producers of locally made rice have been lauding the government's decision to withdraw forex support for the importation of rice, poultry, and other foodstuff that can be produced locally. Maxwell Agbaba spoke to one of them at the National Agricultural Fair.
To be made because the local rice industry must be supported to be able to produce the rice here locally for the consuming public. Yes, very, very important.
So you support that?
Yes, I do support that.
You're telling me that you're producing at 30% capacity now?
No, not production, but the mill.
The mill is...
Yeah, the mill.
Okay.
Yes, produce only milling up to about between 30 to 40% capacity. So it means when we do more production, the mill is ever ready to do the milling to bring into the market.
And that would mean what? The consumption of more locally produced rice?
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, the Russia-Ukraine war is also affecting the production of fertilizer for the growing of crops. Listen to an exhibitor share how this is affecting them.
You know, Russia used to be, or is, the biggest supplier of phosphate across the world. Supplies about 30% of the world's phosphate. So as a major supplier across the world, we took a big hit. And therefore, as a company, it has affected the pricing that we have to price our farmers. Now, if you realize that fertilizer prices have skyrocketed. So as a company, what we have tried to do to make sure that the farmers don't get the full hit of some of these things is that we are providing crop-specific fertilizers that allow the plants to be able to get exactly the nutrients they need. So though you may be buying the fertilizers at a very high price, yes, but the plant is getting all the nutrients that the plant needs. And that is what we are providing the farmers.
All right, so that's where the celebration will be happening for us to celebrate our farmers. It's happening in the Eastern region. We are there to bring you live update of what will be transpiring there. We understand that the president will be coming. So on your screens now is the footage from the Jubilee Park in Koforidua, where the event to honor our gallant farmers is happening. We are there for you live here on the JoyNews channel. Now, some patients at the Dementia Government Hospital are being discharged as nurses begin their indefinite strike demanding the sack of the regional NSS boss. Ms. Alex Opoku-Mensah is reported to have held insult at a nurse at the same facility for chastising his daughter, who is a medical officer at the Dementia Government Hospital, over medication meant for a patient. The Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association has since mounted pressure on government to dismiss the NSS boss for his unruly behavior. The NSS boss has since been suspended, but the Association of Nurses and Midwives is not satisfied. This morning, relatives of some patients at the surgical ward have been asked to take them home until the nurses resume work. My colleague Erastus Asaridonko is at the facility and joins us live with more. Erastus, what more can you tell us from where you are?
Okay, so the nurses at the Menchia Government Hospital have carried out their threat to go on strike. We are currently at the surgical ward. As you can see, many of the patients have been asked to go home. A short while ago, we had motorcycles coming in to pick patients who cannot walk. And they've been given medications and been asked to treat them at home until the nurses resume. When you enter the main hospital here, emergency services are working, but then working partially, I must say, because there are doctors on duty, but then if the cases are severe, they wouldn't have any nurses to help them or assist them to take care of the patients, and so they will have to refer. And so currently, though the emergency unit is working, they are doing referrals to Komfo Teaching Hospital, Suntreso Government Hospital, and others until further notice. That is what is happening here. So the people you see here, these are relatives of patients who have come in to pick their patients out of the surgical unit. I'll try to get in here and speak with some of the relatives who are currently preparing their relatives to take them home. But there is this woman I would like us to focus attention on for a moment. Mama, yes, she doesn't want her face to show. She's telling me, yes, we will not be showing your face. She has a swollen leg. But
me with diabetes, more pressure. Let me walk, let me who kick me. Musuman kika ho adebeti nyina na ohwa ye kokokokoko na ayekuru na ayata na medi ba Menchia hospital so ba yanje uska pania wo me wo panie bosum bia me wo fo omo de ma me free ansa na eduro eni bibia nyina Menchia ma me free Sesi ayati minkoshi minim de meye no me wo kapre kura me beto iduro minye bi na sedi me nan so aye no minim sedi meye enti me sra government me sra ni me de yankopo sra no Menchia hospital de ade e wo mo pe wonyama wo mo na wo mo nhweye ye do so wo ha na sesi a wo mo yin adwuma mi ti ho minim bebi a mekọ minim bebi a so meye no ho enti me sra no one share doctor so mo wa ha.
So in basically what she's saying is that when she comes to the Menchia Government Hospital, they have insurance and it covers treatment, the insurance covers treatment, and so they are not paying for injections, they are not paying for medication, and that is why they come here. Now she's been asked to go to another hospital. She doesn't have any money to go to another hospital. So she's appealing to government to attend to the needs of the nurses, let them come back to work so they can take care of her. And that is what she's saying, that she has diabetes, she has a swollen leg, and she cannot move anywhere. So when you come here, there are 2 doctors on duty. As you can see, they are working actively. But then they need the full support of nurses to be able to carry out the duty that they perform on a daily basis. And those nurses are absent at the moment, and that is why they are doing the discharges here. Let me try to get a soundbite from her. Doc, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm fine.
What is happening here today?
Honestly, the nurses are saying if what they've demanded or what they want the government to do has not been done, they wouldn't come to work. So today, as it stands now, they've started their strike today. So we can't do the work alone. So we have to refer and then discharge the ones that are fine. Yeah. So that is what we've done.
So far, how many have you discharged?
About 6. And we've referred about 4, yeah, to continue treatment in a different facility.
Do you think it's suitable looking at their conditions?
Not at all. It's not suitable at all. Because sometimes the facility they are being referred to also counts, because some of them will end up getting like being reinfected or something if the wound is not being dressed the way it's supposed to be dressed. Yeah, so it's not fair on their side, on the patient's side. That's what I see.
And what she's saying is evident, what we saw in the morning, an elderly man who was being carried because he could not walk, and drips, he had drips on him, but they had to be taken and they had to bring in a motorcycle to carry him to the house. There's a gentleman standing here, and he has a patient here. You can see one being wheeled away at the moment. Yes, is that your grandma?
Yeah, that's my grandma.
What's her condition?
She was amputated and then he had an infection, so we have to bring her back. We brought her back. Yesterday, the doctor attended to her and then he's responding to treatment. She needs to be here for a couple of days, but then today we were called that we should come and take her to another hospital or clinic, so we are doing that. That's why we're here.
So definitely she had amputation in the leg?
Sure.
And she's not in a good condition?
No. The leg got infected, so we have to bring her back. We brought her here. The doctor attended to her yesterday, and then she needs to be here for a couple of days so she can respond to treatment. And then today I was called to come and take her to another hospital. So I was just looking for a nearby private hospital so I can take her to.
How does that make you feel, looking at the strike, the issues at stake, and the condition of your mom and all that?
I have issue with what is going on. This is a mere simple issue that can be solved. Why are they dragging this? Just a verbal assault that leaders can solve this. I don't blame the nurses because they are just listening to what the authorities will tell them. So I don't blame them. They are just doing their jobs. But then leadership, what are you doing? We came here in the morning, we should discharge each and every patient irrespective of the person's condition. So are we saying those people should go and die? Is it the government we want? Is it the leadership we want? This, I think, me standing here can even resolve this issue. Me standing here. And a verbal assault. Why should you drag this thing? So if it should take like 3-4 days and then people start dying, is that what you want? Is that what Ghanaians want? Is that what we should get for our tax we've paid, for vote we've done? Is that what we should get? Ghana, we should set up. This is not fair. We should set up. This is not fair. Thank you. I don't have to say more because I am
definitely an emotional, relative of a patient who is in need of care, but cannot get that care and will have to go home because nurses are on strike for the verbal abuse, for invectives spewed on them by somebody who should be a leader and be managing them. Somebody who is taking care of youth under his leadership. So that is what is happening here at the Menchia Government Hospital. There are doctors on duty, no nurses to attend to patients. Patients are being discharged to seek help elsewhere. Back to you in the studio.
One ward. Is it only specific to this ward or it affects the whole facility?
Well, Brace, we have the emergency unit behind us. It's quite a long walk from here, so I cannot walk with the TV on. But then, this is the surgical ward. There are other wards, emergency wards over there. Some patients have been discharged from there as well. Because without the nurses, on a daily basis, on a normal day, if you look at the number of nurses who attend to patients here at the Menchia Government Hospital, it's quite enormous. So without any of them on site, it is difficult to take care of patients. And so they are discharging patients both at the emergency unit and in other wards as well. And so the only people on duty at the moment are doctors. And these doctors cannot administer care alone in this hospital. So it is not restricted to the surgical ward, but we have other wards as well being affected. Let's get out. There's quite emotions, anger, as relatives pick their patients out of this particular hospital. And you can see another vehicle in here trying to pick a patient out. Some of them have the means to try other hospitals. Some, they do not have the means at all. And it means that going home, there are two things involved. Either they get reinfected, die out of it, or hold on until the nurses come back so that they can get the care that they need. Brace.
Very interesting. Are we able to engage some of the people we see sitting behind you who are probably not happy with the situation? I hear them say a lot of things. Is it possible we can really gauge their mood as well?
Yes, definitely she's angry, and let me niawo kanwa pese etikakra dia na ma obo afu sesia sa
me pacho de papa ni ye de wanya de ya me ni nukure onya de chese wo ma ko strike ya ma mi na omuda hono no omubre ya yentime hwe omu wa ba didi yi na ya ti o social media de wo ye ni wanya de kura wanya de ye mpenyin kasasa still nice power chow da we dey know da now kasa na udidi wo moatem wanya de de wo ye ne wanya de next for the power mo achow omon hu ye mame fo no mobo na mo behwe omon mai me de me kan no.
Well, so you're saying that the NSS boss did not do well. She has been listening to the tape on social media. He did not do well. The insults and all that did not go down well. But she's begging and appealing to the nurses to at least come back and take care of their moms and dads for her. That is what she has been saying. There are other people here. Let me try to speak with this lady. Mepato, say.
Yamiadum. So she said, even though Papa Nwanya, he has not tried, but the patients should have, the nurses should have pity on our mothers and come and take care of them. My mother has a swollen leg. Now we have to be referred to another hospital, which is a huge problem. The problem is she cannot even walk. So what are they trying to do? We are now trying to find the means for transport and take her to other hospitals when there is a hospital near us where they can take good care of her. So please, the leaders, if it is Nanado or whoever, if it is World Health Organization, they should be involved and take care of the issue. If the man is to be sacked or suspended, they should do whatever it takes for them to come and take care of our parents, because we are all suffering. If our parents are not well, we cannot go to work. Right now, I'm supposed to be at work, but I'm here, seeing to my mother to be well taken care of, which is a huge problem.
Oh, you heard it. There are more people here who have come in. Some, they've come for treatment. Why are you here this morning?
Me mama be surgery. Ye surgery ni we di week na ye nom say na ye dressing. And ye buy and nurses na cause strike. Me mama te ho nom na homa kra ye ntwen ba kompo. Oti woni nan kra se nyina hyehye ontimi nante ye buy say nurses wo ha. Enkom behwe nurses cause strike and say doctors for nkom ntimi nya adwuma. Hospital hen na empty. Now kasa obani a doctor. Obani a doctor and doctors for community adwuma. Nurses na ye adwuma no. Me see e beda e kura kesi a nurses ni mi ano. Doctors for ntimi mi asa e kuro no. Me na me ye surgery ya de ni beto. Nurses na hwe no. Oxygen si me ma me so sa be 4 days 5 days. Nurses for na hwe no.
Omu nyina ye adwuma bom. So in effect she's saying that her mom had surgery. And currently they had to remove the strings and all that. Nothing has been done. Her legs, her feet are swollen, and she's there. And she is trying to articulate the importance of nurses in taking care of these patients. And so that is what she's saying, that they all need the care that we are talking about. They are here and they are not getting the care because nurses are on strike. Brace.
Grateful to you. I'm sure you didn't see any of the nurses. You've not been able to speak to them as well, right?
Well, I saw some in the morning who had completed their morning shift and were heading home, but we are not having their replacements coming back. So they've all left. Okay. When we came, we saw about 2 of them who were leaving for their homes. But as of now, there's none here at the moment.
All right, I'm grateful to you. So that's my colleague Erastus Asare Donko joining us from the Menchia Government Hospital, where the nurses are striking for that verbal abuse on their colleague last week by the Ashanti Region NSS boss. They are calling for his total dismissal. Let's take you back to the Koforidua, where the National Farmers' Day celebration is being held to celebrate our gallant farmers.
Of the various institutions, ministers of state, they are all gathered here to ensure that they observe the celebration here at the Koforidua Jackson Park. The program is chaired by the chairman of the Council of State, that is Nana Oto Srebwo, and he is being supported by other chiefs. We have the Menya Krobo Traditional Council chief here. He is also around the New Jabin traditional area. The chief Nana Kwakubuati is also around, and they are all ensuring that the program takes place successfully. What is happening here is that people are expectant of the president. I'm told he's arrived, and he is in the company of the Agric Minister, the Eastern Regional Minister. The Road Minister is also here as well. And in no time, the MC for the day will be calling on the personalities who will be giving the various speeches to ensure that the program takes place successfully.
Okay, so Xiao, as we speak, I'm sure the farmers who are to be honored have all gathered. We know that there are some known faces who are into farming as well, John Dumelo and all of that. Do you see some of these people there? Okay, so once the president, have you seen the president yourself? Have you cited him? Okay, so that's my colleague Kofi Sia, who is in Koforidua for us. We will be there to bring you a live coverage of this particular event, the event to honor our gallant farmers. We'll take a quick break here. When we return, we'll bring you more on this and many other stories. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Now, the International Union for Conservation Nature has supported farmer groups in the Upper East and Upper West regions with farm equipment to help them improve their yields and reduce post-harvest losses. A total of 20,000 farmers will benefit from the donation, which include a multi-purpose thresher, weighing machines, and roller planters. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The International Union for Conservation of Nature is working to improve food security and sustainability in the Sahel areas of Africa. The union has been working with farmers under a project called Creating Lands of Opportunity, Transforming Livelihoods Through Landscape Restoration in the Sahel. The 3-year project is funded by the Italian government through the global mechanisms of the United Nations Conventions to Combat Desertification and is being implemented in Ghana, Niger, and Burkina Faso. In Ghana, the project is located in the Upper East and Upper West regions. It is being implemented by the Savannah Agriculture Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Arusha, Ghana, and the Environmental Protection Agency. Idrisu Yahaya is a research scientist with the Savannah Agriculture Research Institute.
Our objective is to improve crop productivity and link farmers to markets sustainably. So as part of our project, we have developed a value chain plan with the farmers. And the farmers selected 2 value chain crops, soybean and maize. Now, to improve quality, we need to improve plant population on the field. So thereby providing the rural planters for them to improve their planting activity due to the labor shortages in the communities. Also, we are providing skills for them to standardize their produce and tarpaulins to give them clean produce so that they can have space to dry, and during harvest, we will not harvest with stones.
Smallholder farmers in 8 communities of the Upper East and Upper West regions received farm equipment to help improve their post-harvest fortunes. The communities include Dalasa and Nadema in the Busa South District, Yamriga and Awaradoni in the Talense District, Tarekum and Gbango in the Boko West District, all in the Upper East region. Farmer groups in each of these communities were given a weighing machine, 2 roller planters, and tarpaulins. In the Upper West region, smallholder farmers in communities such as Nanchala and Sakalu in the Sasala East municipality also received the same donations. However, the Gbango community in the Boko West district was also given a multi-purpose thresher for threshing grains. A senior research scientist with the Savannah Agriculture Research Institute, Manga Station, Dr. Julius Yirzagla, said it is hoped that the equipment donated will help the beneficiary farmers to standardize their operations.
We noticed from our interaction with you that you needed those things. You need pick sacks to store your crops. And you also need a weighing scale to make sure you standardize your weights when you are sending them to the market. That is why we procured these tools and equipment to help facilitate your work.
The farmers were excited about the donation. Some of them spoke to JoyNews.
We farm maize, soybean, granules, rice. And it's not easy for us. As a poor person, when you want to do this farm work without capital in your hand, you can't do it effectively. Because everything you have to use labor. The yield is good through the knowledge we have gained from Sahel. And today, as I stand, I say it is a very good thing they have done to our community.
I'm well convinced that it will impact positively in the lives of the dwellers or the beneficiaries of the community. The planter, for instance, will help them plant the type of crop that they want. And measuring is no longer going to be a problem because we have a scale.
Reporting for JoyNews, Albert Sori, Bolgatanga.
Let's do some business news now. And the Ghana Revenue Authority has begun its tax enforcement and compliance in the stone quarrying industry. According to the GRA, operators in the sector, made of some foreigners, have evaded tax for years. The following report has more.
The GRA, as part of moves to increase its revenue streams, began some enforcement exercises that saw the authority visit retail shops and supermarkets to check tax payment. The authority paid attention to the introduction of the electronic VAT invoicing. Turning its attention to other areas, the authority visited some stone quarrying sites in the Shai Osudoku District Assembly. Some of the quarries evading taxes are Top Stone Quarry, Uni Africa Quarry, Masaik and Sabag Limited. The rest are Derby Quarry, Orient Quarry, and Twin Rock Quarry. Joseph Annan is the head of enforcement across Central GRA. He spoke to Joy Business on day one of the exercise.
Yes, we are looking at the national economy, and the contribution comes from all sectors of the economy. We started and we're dealing with commerce, those into retailing of goods and services. Now we just decided to do some work on sand and stone quarry, and that is what had brought us this far. We realized that many of them were not issuing the VAT invoice, or even if they were given the dispensation, they were not charging the VAT. So we decided to shift our focus. And like you said, we are not going to continue dealing with them till end of year.
On day 2 of the exercise, some of the companies resisted the authority of the GRA. Mr. Anand said the GRA will adopt new methods in arresting corporates who do not pay taxes.
They were the quarries. Yesterday we did about 3 of them, and today in total we have done 4. But then before we ended the last exercise, we were here, and then some of them resisted us. We went to Techiad and many of them just disappeared before we got there. So this time we decided to, because we don't want that to be an encouragement to others, so that when they hear we are coming, they will run away. So we decided to revisit what we started in the past. So today we've gotten them. We have some of them who are doing selective issuance. So we have arrested them. And we'll, like we always do, we'll do the preemptive assessments. And the CID will also investigate and prepare their cases, which will be handed over to our legal unit. And then they will look at the merits, if they have to take them to court or not.
Meanwhile, GRA says it will turn its attention to operators in the tourism and hospitality industry to ensure that the right taxes are paid during the festive season. According to the GRA, there are close to 100 grand events slated for December, which will be keenly monitored by the authority for tax compliance.
Now, the Ghana Textiles Limited has been forced to increase prices of its products more than 6 times this year due to a difficult business environment. According to the company, the last increase, which is about 25%, is due to unsustainable pressure on its operations, which includes supply of foreign exchange to purchase raw materials, piracy of its product, and uncontrolled smuggling of fake fabrics into the country. Addressing journalists at a media tour of its facility in Tema, Director of Sales Emmanuel Debra disclosed that the company needed the increment in order to stay in business. Here's a report on that.
The continued increase in the price of fabrics by the textiles company, producers of 3 major brands in the country for the year, is attributed to harsh business environment. There has been a 35% increase in the price of the product as compared to the same period last year. After taking journalists on a tour of its facility at the Tema industrial area, Director of Sales Emmanuel Debra lamented the situation as posing a threat to the growth of business, as the increment is still not being able to support their operational costs.
Year to date, I can say we've done just about 35% price increase for that, and this is not actually going to even cover for the depreciation of the CD. It's also not going to cover for the 55% tariff for medicinal. The challenge really is that, we buy a lot of our gray, our dye stuff, everything that is about 80% of our cost, and is in euros and in dollars. And we buy and then sell in Ghana City, which is really, and so the exchange rate is our major challenge. After selling in Ghana City, you have to change it back and buy those raw materials in euros or in dollars again. So this has actually been the #1 challenge that we've been facing this year. Yeah.
Among the challenges enumerated, the recent cancellation of subsidies on the residual fuel oil, RFO, by the National Petroleum Authority, and its supply concerns have been a major setback which the company would have to contend with. Here is Technical Training Manager Kweku Adai.
In RFO, this year we suffered so much from RFO. There were shortages and the prices have spiked up as a result of the removal of the government subsidy. Now we're buying RFO at 13 Ghana cedis per litre. It used to be 2.16 because of the removal of the subsidy. It came up to around 4, and then now it's around 13. So one of the biggest challenges we're experiencing is the hike in IFO prices, which has been a big impact on the production cost.
The company is, however, producing at a full capacity due to a growing demand of the product.
And to sports now, on a day when Ghana seeks to get qualification into around 16 of the 2022 World Cup. Now, Ghana head coach Kojo says the Black Stars could be walking away with all 3 points if the players deliver the same performances as they have in the previous 2 games. The Black Stars head into the final game needing to avoid defeat to stand a chance of progressing to the round of 16 of the 2022 FIFA World Cup. Ghana lost to Portugal in their opening game before overcoming a late scare from South Korea to register a win in their second game.
If the same incident would have happened the other way around and Ghana would have proceeded to the semi-finals, everybody would say, okay, it's normal that the player will do everything he can to help his team to go to the semi-finals. So for me, it's not a big topic. I wish, this is what I wish from every player, to do all he can to help his team qualify for the semi, and sometimes sacrifice even himself with a red card. It was a very sad day for me. Also, I watched it, it was so sad. But this is my perspective. If I see it from another perspective, it's a normal thing. So it's not for me, it's not a big topic, and I'm going on the match like every other match. We prepare as good as we can, and we try to show them their strengths and weaknesses, and we try to also emphasize on our strength and do and try to create solutions defensively but also offensively. That's it. Surely everyone knows about their strength. First of all, it's Uruguay have a very, very long tradition of football and mentality. All the players are strong mentality players. They have a lot of experience in their team. Very, very good strikers, but the midfield is good as well. And yeah, even the wingers. When I saw the games, Pelistri is very good, and one against one by Verde, you know. So they have a lot of good players, and yeah, obviously good strikers, Nunes, Suarez, Cavani, but the defenders with experience with Godin, I mean, they're good, and they're very, very tough. It's going to be a close match, a tight match, very, very difficult match for us, and we have to challenge them.
And that's it for sport, and that's how we wrap up today's bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. But remember that will bring you live coverage of the Farmers' Day celebration, which is underway in Koforidua. We'll bring that live from that place here on the Joy News for you. So stay with us. My name is Samuel Kojo. Do enjoy the rest of our shows. Good morning.